Read Twilight, A Dawning of Power, Chapter 6. I return to the front of the bar. I walk around looking for any information I can find on what is going on here. I give Tail the list. She gives me the facts. Tail is wonderful. I still can't remember how long we have known each other, but it's long enough for me to understand that she is absolutely trustworthy. I'm going to imagine that her rough voice garnishes a lot of negative attention, aside from her being a so-called freak. I find it beautiful. Hey, check us out, Tail says as she texts me a letter. From Colonel Donovan, June 6th, 1969, to General Carrington, December 15th. We sent a battalion of hand-picked individuals to investigate a series of weapon depots reported to us by an informant network in the North Vietnam. The force was divided into 3 companies to execute simultaneous action. The companies were then divided into 9 squads for strategic reasons. Paratroopers drops were made 25 miles out from targets to minimize detection. December 17th, radar contact was lost. Last transmission that was received at 600 hours. Sent by Captain Reads, reporting his unit was under fire. All units appear to be lost. Large-scale assault on our covert troops. December 19th, we have received an encrypted message by hardline from Corporal Thompson that appears to be a collateral report. 297 American soldiers confirmed killed in action, 50 missing in action. Remainder of the soldiers have joined fallback organization led by Lieutenant David Lay, sniper, Lieutenant Matimo Whitewolf, infantry commander. Half the men under the command have reported injuries. Soldiers under Lieutenant Whitewolf commandeered a farm in which they set up a fort. After losing his unit, Lieutenant Lay made his way to the last known location of surrounding teams to escort survivors to relative safety, where he then joined up with Lieutenant Whitewolf. December 21st. Lieutenant Lay requested evacuation of wounded, went on to explain he and 7 others are abandoning fort to go in search of missing men. Lieutenant 24th. Lieutenant Lay, Lieutenant Whitewolf report that they had captured one of the weapon depots and recovered 5 POWs. Report explained that though the base is now under their control, they have failed to locate any high-powered ballistics. January 5th, 1969. Lieutenant Lay and his team have just arrived home. General, I believe that this attack was well beyond anything we expected, and can only be the result of an intelligence leak. Had it not been for the actions of Lieutenant Lay and Whitewolf, this could have been a disaster of a far greater scale. I believe that Lieutenant Lay and Whitewolf should be considered for the highest honors affordable. On another note, it may not be my place, but I believe that until this leak is repaired, we should launch a withdrawal of all troops in the area. Tail continues her story. Lieutenant Lay and Whitewolf, along with their teams, were labeled as killed in action on January 8th, 1969. Killed behind enemy lines in an attempt to rescue a Blackbird squad. The team leaders are recognized as some of the most decorated soldiers to come out of the United States Armed Services. Lay and Whitewolf were buried at sea by a Marine squad on scene. The bodies were recovered during the fall back. What a drag. I think for a time. Tail speaks again. So, do you think these guys are the real deal? More thinking. Well, Tail answers herself. There are two clear possibilities. If you ask me, either they are, and they're the best hands possible, or they're SOLNJWF. That might be the longest acronym that I've ever heard spoken. Say again, Tail. SOLNJWF. Shit out of luck and jolly well fucked. I make my way over the hill, if one can call it that, on the other side of the street, and open my bag to begin assembling my rifle. How about Larry Gex? Well, the man is a parking ticket away from the FBI's most wanted list. He spent time in a padded room at the National Institute for Mental Health. He is a highly disturbed, violent criminal with a history of sexual offenses. And he has multiple murders on his record. He's wanted for questioning in 12.5 crimes, too. He makes his brother look like a saint. He's only wanted for numerous thefts and drug trafficking. I line up my crosshairs as I listen. Sounds like a couple of nice guys. What about Wingate? Is she another award-winning asshole? Or did she just get off the bus on the wrong side of town? Hold on. There's silence for several minutes as I assume Tail scans the computer looking for information. I wait, occasionally throwing up verbal pauses. She's a runaway. Her mother is enjoying hospitality of the state. Her father's the headmaster of the school down south. Suspected in an arson case. Not much else. I have to struggle to hold back a chuckle as Tail tells me this. Floods of dirty thoughts running through my head. She's an amateur artist, you know. She has some wonderful pieces right here in her notebook. I think you'd appreciate them. Maybe I'll steal some for you. Tail laughs once into the phone. Thanks, Blake. I'm sure she will love to give you her life's work. Well, if she ends up dead, the price won't be too high. If you think about it. I spent a moment reflecting on the horrible work at hand. I'm sitting on top of a dirt mound, waiting to assassinate a room full of men and women as they escape the most challenging fight of their lives. Assuming that anyone gets out at all. I would consider the best case scenario. A wolf opens the door. I kill it. Justice is done. But that wouldn't be any different than worst case, really, would it? Tail questions. Are you saying it's easier to pickpocket the dead than steal from the living? The harder I think about it, I realize that if I follow orders to a T, everyone is dead except for me. But what do I really have to choose from? I kill the things in there, human or otherwise, or I sacrifice myself. Which might not be all bad in the end. And Tail. That is unacceptable. Damn. What is a man to do? I'm a soldier. I have to follow orders. No, I'm not a soldier. I'm a supernatural investigator, eliminator, and an exorcist. Mercenary at best. I don't have to follow orders. Nothing is stopping me from going back to HQ and killing everyone there instead. aside from not knowing the way back. Or how many men I'm outnumbered by. Or even their ultimate goal. I have to live up to it, I suppose. I'm a heartless killer. But these are human beings, not faceless monstrosities. Lucy's a runaway. She has a family. And I don't know anything about the others. Tale. I break the silence. The last one. Charlie Belmont. Tale takes her time, scanning page after page on her computer. Well, aside from a bounty on his head, this guy's invisible. No police records, no credit cards, no cosmetic surgery. Did you say bounty? I interrupt her. Yeah. A man named A.C. Demrow is offering 100,000 bananas to the first man to deliver 51% of his corpse to Dell International, Maine, Florida. Room 18F. That's a whole lot of bananas. Not just Charlie either. It's for any Belmont with heritage that can be traced to Turkey, Tale continues. I'm not sure what Demrow's beef is with Belmont, but he's willing to pay out the ass for it. Is Belmont a Turkish name? I ask. Yeah. No. I don't know. I type it in and get 843 marks. Could be Turkish. Could be Swahili. Tale, in a matter of fact, explains, I just don't know. There's a hum as Tale thinks aloud. About your trouble with the front door. Someone must have locked it. I exhale heavily, thinking about the future. Things are going to get worse. And it's going to get there in a hurry. Tale, I have to let you go. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'll call you when it's over. Tale starts to say something, but I can't make it out. I slam my phone shut and lay upon the ground. One eye placed firmly against the side of my gun as I sweep my surroundings for anything out of the ordinary. I don't know what I was expecting to find, but little more than a few seconds pass before my sixth sense kicks in. Instincts take over as I roll onto my back. I reach for my iron, an antique replica of the Jesse James 6-shooter, made of silver with an ivory handle. The vortex, I feel it again. It has followed me, but it refuses to come closer. I hear deep laughter. It is muffled, as if being forced down. The rolling moonlight is playing tricks on me. Bathed in darkness, I see a face smirking at me from about 100 feet away. It looks to be carved of wood, with grotesquely beautiful detail. There is now an appalling stink in the air. Burning flesh. As the moon comes back, out of the devilish vision stops. And I once again am alone in the dark. I sit frozen in place for several minutes, holding my peace in both hands, staring at the vortex only inches outside my range of vision, waiting for the return of the monstrosity that mocks my humanity. Never does it return. I rub my eyes until I start to see spots. then replace my gun to its holster. My vision returns to clarity. The hell that has been following me has receded to whatever depths it calls home. I suddenly wonder, is this hell I made for myself, or can others see the darkness also? If others do see it, do they ignore it somehow? Or do they cower away from the monsters hiding so near? I feel I'm filled with fear, but I know that fear protects me. Sometimes I think that only myself and children truly understand the nature of darkness, and everyone else is merely hiding in the metaphoric closet from it. Or maybe I'm going mad after all. There was something there, I have no doubt of that. But it was not a man or a monster. It was a dog. Yeah. That's it. It was a dog. Who do I think I'm kidding? I'm a scion. And one of the worst parts of being a scion is no one can lie to me. Not even myself. There's something around me, but I can't do a damn thing about it. I can take comfort in the idea that 2/3 of the time, an entity that you can't feel you. We're at an impasse until it takes on a solid form, so I can fight it. Until that comes to pass, there's only one thing left to do. Wait. Joe shuts the book he'd been writing in. He stands up and looks to Amaranth. I need a drink. Joe leaves the library. He walks down the hall to a nearby door in the underground structure. Joe folds his arms and taps his cane to the wall as he is thinking. Something about all of this isn't sitting right with me. Life can't simply be wished into existence by a man, can it? If man had the power to give and take away life, then what need would there be for gods or devils? The door is opened by an old Jamaican man in a leopard-spotted cloak and fez. The Jamaican holds out his arms and smile and laugh. Josephus! Joe smiles to his companion, Lincoln. Joe takes the man's arms in a hug. How long have we known each other, Lincoln? Gallard pats Joe on the back. A lifetime, not a day less. Joe nods. Lincoln, I need an ear to bend. Lincoln waves Joe into his den. You're in luck. I have 2 of them, and they both work. Most of the time. Joe steps into Lincoln's room. I stumbled on something I have never seen before. I need advice. Lincoln pours a cup of tea as they start talking. That is becoming an ever rarer phenomenon. As we age, the world keeps becoming smaller. Or maybe we keep getting larger. Joe explains. I met a girl today. Lincoln asks, is she your type? Joe laughs with his friends. I tend to like older women. Lincoln hands Joe a cup. So then what is on your mind, my dear friend? Did you know Sato? Joe requests. I have seen his journals. He took the Carrington job from me, Lincoln expresses. Then you know Marx Carrington, Joe extrapolates. Yes? Joe takes a sip from his cup. What are your feelings about him? Anything that didn't make it into the archives? Lincoln chuckles. The man was crazy like a cat with a cucumber. But he was not a liar, not a crook. He was a warrior through and through. It is clear that Joe and Lincoln have some level of affection for Marx. Joe cuts to the chase of his thought process. How much human blood do you need to have before you're human? Lincoln senses there is something strange about the question. There are details that Joe is leaving out. This stem will be used to fill in the gap in more than one inquiry. Lincoln will not let Joe play games with him. Do not talk to me like you think I am stupid. You know epistemology as well as I do. Your statement is moo. Joe lowers his head with a smile and nods. You are right. Let me tell you more. Marx created something almost human, but not quite. Joe trusts Lincoln. The two have fought side by side. The two have been friends for generations. Lincoln folds his hands in front of his face and leans onto the table, taking in everything Joe has to say. The two men will spend the rest of the night drinking together and determining the fate of Tale and her kin.